next few days. I do want to bring in Yesha Kotak, who joins us live from Goa as well. Yesha, tell us a little bit about Ajay Gupta. Again, a co-accused. He fled to the national capital. He's believed to be in Goa at the time of the incident, though he was not at the spot. Tell us a little more about what probe agencies are looking at here.
So, when it comes to Ajay Gupta, here the key role of Ajay Gupta is that he was one of the partners along with Saurabh and Gaurav Luthra in the company. This company was managing Birch by Romeo Lane. Now, what's important to note at this point is that while going to the court, Ajay Gupta happened to mention that he was just a sleeping partner and he was not aware of the operations of the firm in totality. But in another statement that he's recorded before the cops, he's also gone ahead to mention that he was present in Goa on the night of the incident, but was not present at the spot. He happened to take an early morning flight back to Delhi when the incident took place and admitted himself in a hospital so as to evade the arrest. On the other hand, speaking of Luthra brothers, he said that Luthra brothers were very much in Delhi when the incident took place. They were attending a wedding, following which they managed to flee to Thailand after the incident took place. So here, the statement by Ajay Gupta becomes quite crucial here to establish that there was an intent of Luthra brothers to try and escape, and so was the case with Ajay Gupta as well, who had this intent to not be held accountable for the incident that took place. But, this very statement of Ajay Gupta would now have to be cross-verified. Like we in fact heard Arunima saying that it will take a couple of days for the Luthra brothers to be brought back to Goa. And unless they are brought back, what's important is that the statement of Ajay Gupta has been recorded before the magistrate as well. That could be used as a statement that could be produced before the court. So here, of course, Ajay Gupta's statement becomes important, but that will have to be cross-verified with the Luthra brothers. So once the Goa police has custody of Luthra brothers, what we understand from police sources is that there will be cross-examination that will take place. All the three partners would have to be sat together so as to ensure that there is a cross-examination of the statement that is taking place and whether the version of all of these three people is the same or not. Now here, when it comes to culpable homicide not amounting to murder, Ajay Gupta is also being charged with the same sections. But here, when it comes to any premises, the owners of the premises or the managers of the premises become the key role. They are held accountable for any untoward incident taking place in that premises. Here, whether Ajay Gupta was in the know-how that there were no fire NOCs, or for that matter, whether there was any kind of NOCs that were remaining. The initial fire NOC that was taken, that was also missing. So all of that was Ajay Gupta aware of, or was it just Luthra that were aware of these things? That's a part of police questioning now, because Ajay Gupta is in police custody for next 7 days, 6 days from now. In fact, yesterday was when he was sent to police custody for 7 days. He was arrested from Delhi initially because he was absconding, and LOC was issued against him. And then Goa police, which was in Delhi, found that he was hiding in one of the hospitals. So far, of the 9 accused that we speak of that have been that were under the radar of Goa police, cops have managed to arrest 6 of them. 2 Luthra brothers, they're still in Bangkok. One of the key person in this case, Surinder Khosla, who's the actual owner of the land, there's an LOC against him as well, but cops believe that he is still absconding. So of the 9 people, already 8 have been brought to books. 5 are in fact the managers, bar manager, general manager of the club, in fact including Bharat as well, who was arrested from Delhi for looking after the operations of all of these clubs. The next one was Ajay Gupta, who was known to be the main key person accused in this very case. Now, widening the whole lens of investigation further, cops have also summoned the Sarpanch and the other key people associated with this case, the person who's looking after the operations at the Sarpanch level. All of these become crucial key because while they also have an anticipatory bail against them, but were any of these people involved in giving permissions to Birch by Romeo Lane is something that's also under the
And that's exactly what the Chief Minister's also said, isn't it, Yesha? That investigations will take place in a fast-tracked manner. That's what we're witnessing. Several other arrests in the meanwhile have taken place in Goa, including some of the club managers as well. Yesha, we'll keep coming back to you. I do want to bring in Anshul Singh into the conversation as well. Anshul, we're learning of 42 shell companies allegedly being run by the Luthra brothers under the guise of their restaurant name. How much more trouble could this one thing, which is now going to be probed eventually, how much of a trouble could this mean for the Luthra brothers? Tell us more.
Yes, the troubles for the Luthra brothers could increase by multiple folds as these new revelations that have been made by the agencies at this point in time clearly indicates that there was a larger money laundering racket that was also being run by the brothers at this point in time. In fact, there are 42 shell companies that have been made, and through these shell companies, money running into crores was actually laundered by the Luthra brothers is what the agencies believe at this point in time. However, a preliminary investigation into this entire matter has been launched, and over the next few days, we can expect that a formal FIR could also be registered in this entire matter. And once that FIR is registered, that will be seen as a predicate offence. And then the Enforcement Directorate, in all likelihood, would also take up this entire investigation, which would mean that a PMLA investigation would also start against the Luthra brothers, which eventually will result in problems for the Luthra brothers to increase by multiple folds. But at this point in time, the larger question that still remains is how quickly can the Luthra brothers be brought back to India, and what are the steps that would be taken by the administration not only of Goa but also of other states as well, who have given a free run to such bars and pubs that run without taking requisite permissions, or even the permissions are granted that are given in return of a bribe. The officers who are involved in giving such permissions, the officers who allow such bars and pubs to run, which puts the safety of people who are entering into these bars at high risk. Will some serious actions be taken against them? That is the larger question that still remains. And how and when will the agencies be able to bring back the Luthra brothers back to the country, so that the charges that have been put against them of culpable homicide, not amounting to murder, that could be investigated and they could be interrogated, because the manner in which they have fled from the country, it definitely raises a lot of questions, and also tells us that how these people were actually planning to evade the law of the land, and they chose Phuket as one of the locations which was known to them, from where they expected that they could actually escape from the grasp of the police. But thanks to the agencies at this point in time, they have gone ahead and made sure that he is taken into custody by the authorities over there. And over the next few days, over the next 2 to 3 days, we can expect that they will be brought back over to India and then be taken to Goa, where further investigation into this entire matter will take place by the Goa police.
Okay, Anshul, stay on with us. I'll come back to you in just a bit. Do want to go back to Yasha once again. Yasha, the ambit of the investigation is now widened and has gone much beyond the Luthra brothers, who are the owners of Birch by Romeo Lane. But tell us a little bit about the other aspects which are being looked at, including how, to begin with, illegally this entire nightclub was built on this land, which was meant to be an agricultural land. So given how permissions were illegally given to the Luthra brothers for coming up with this cafe, how much more has been probed or is being probed currently by the Goa police as we speak, and how many accused have been taken in just given that one aspect of illegal construction?
So far, those who've been arrested, there are 6 people who've been arrested. Of these 6 people, they're all concerned with the management of the club. Now, when you speak of the land in question, the land here, of course, we know was a salt pan. It was in fact owned by one Pradeep Amonkar. What we also know is Pradeep Amonkar was the one who was time and again filed petition before the court, asking that this land was misused. In fact, when Pradeep Amonkar got to know that it was Surinder Khosla who purchased this land and was going to build a club on it, there were questions that were raised time and again. Here, of course, Surinder Khosla, as we know, was in the know-how of what was happening here. Now, the club that was built, it also had a dance floor which was below the ground level. So here, questions were raised as to the fact that because the fire broke out, it went to the basement, which is where the tragedy turned into such a huge loss of lives for those who are present there. So all of these are crucial aspects. But so far, when we speak of when it comes to the land in question, there's been no arrest that has been made when it comes to land in question, because Surinder Khosla, the key accused, who is in the know-how of the land, seems to be absconding. He's a British citizen. After the Luthra brothers are brought in, whether Goa police would in fact try and understand from them where Khosla is something that's also under the purview of the investigation. But there could be parallel FIRs that can take place, or more sections that can be added to this very FIR when it comes to the misuse of the land. Because when it comes to Goa, the Chief Minister himself yesterday announced that any kind of illegalities when it comes to clubs, pubs, restaurants in the state will be looked into thoroughly. Those who've been misusing the land or the designated space for the land. If it's an agricultural land, if it's a salt pan, if it's a marshy land, if they've been used for clubs, strict action will be taken against all of them. And which is where we saw another club called Goya, which was built on a farmland, was also sealed yesterday by the authorities. Yes.
Okay, many thanks, Yasha, for joining us.